Most people think the absolute worst thing about the Sonoran Desert is the blistering heat, topping 113 degrees Fahrenheit. But the truth is way scarier. Take just a few steps off the trail, and you could stumble right into the territory of creatures capable of killing you in minutes. And here's the kicker. Many of them aren't even big. Some are so tiny you could accidentally put your hand right on them without even realizing it. Today, we're exploring the 10 most dangerous animals hiding in plain sight out here in the Sonoran Desert. 1. Africanized honeybees. The flying serial killers. If there's one animal that genuinely deserves the top spot on this list, it's not a snake or a massive predator, it's the Africanized honeybee, famously dubbed killer bees by the American media. They made their way into Arizona after spreading all the way up from South America, quickly adapting to the Sonoran Desert's hot, dry climate. Look-wise, they are practically identical to regular honeybees. That's exactly what catches people off guard, but if you accidentally shake a bush, bump into a tree with a hive, or even run an engine too close to them, hundreds, then thousands of bees will swarm out all at once. What makes these bees so lethal isn't that their venom is stronger, but their relentless swarm tactics. While regular honeybees might sting a few times and back off, Africanized bees will chase you down for massive distances, sometimes over a quarter mile, or even a half mile if they still see you as a threat. Victims usually panic, getting stung repeatedly on the head, neck, and face while running. For anyone allergic to bee stings, just a few can trigger anaphylactic shock, but even a perfectly healthy person can die if they take hundreds of stings in a short window, as the sheer amount of toxins overloads the body's system. Fire and rescue teams in Arizona regularly respond to calls about swarms attacking hikers, gardeners, or climbers. So, if you ever hear a buzzing sound getting louder or spot a chaotic cloud of bees, your best bet is to run immediately into a car or the nearest building. Don't try to swat them away. And definitely don't jump into a body of water. The swarm will literally wait above the surface until you come up for air. But at least it takes a whole army of bees to take a life. The next creature on our list only needs one single bite to put you in a race against the clock just to survive. 2. Rattlesnakes, the desert's ultimate warning sign. The Sonoran Desert is home to more rattlesnake species than almost anywhere else in North America. Among them, the western diamondback is the main culprit behind most snake bites in Arizona. They can grow over 5 feet long, blending in perfectly with the rocks, sand, and arid cactus scrub. Plenty of people don't even spot the snake until their foot is literally less than a yard away from it. That rattle on their tail is meant to be your final warning before a strike. However, you aren't always lucky enough to hear it. Some snakes choose to lie completely still to stay camouflaged instead of rattling, causing hikers to accidentally step too close. When they feel cornered, they launch a lightning-fast strike that happens in the blink of an eye. Rattlesnake venom is a nasty cocktail of hemotoxins and myotoxins that destroys tissue, messes up blood clotting, and causes severe muscle damage. Left untreated, victims can lose the function of the bitten limb or face life-threatening complications. A unique case is the tiger rattlesnake. This species packs the most potent venom of any rattlesnake, featuring a mix of neurotoxins and muscle-destroying agents. Ironically, though, they rarely ever bite humans, and they don't inject a lot of venom when they do. To this day, there hasn't been a single officially confirmed death caused by a tiger rattlesnake. It just goes to show that the most dangerous snake isn't necessarily the one that claims the most lives. If you get bitten by a rattlesnake, the absolute most important thing is to stay calm. Minimize movement to slow down the spread of venom, and call 911 immediately. Old wives' tales like cutting the wound, sucking out the venom, or applying a tourniquet will only make things way worse, no matter how dangerous they are. Snakes usually want to avoid humans, But our next predator is a different story. Once it decides to strike, you barely have time to realize what's happening. 3. Mountain lions. The silent ghosts of the Sonoran. Not every danger in the Sonoran Desert crawls on the ground, hiding out on rocky hillsides, canyons, and the desert fringes is the mountain lion, also known as a cougar or puma. As one of North America's apex predators, they excel at stalking prey without making a single sound. With a tawny coat that blends right into the arid terrain, they could be watching you from just a few dozen yards away without you having a clue. The scariest part about mountain lions is their ambush tactics. Instead of a long-distance chase, they patiently stalk their target before suddenly bursting forward at speeds topping 40 miles per hour in short spurts. A single leap of over 30 feet combined with a crushing bite force is enough to bring down deer, elk, and other large prey in seconds. When humans become the target, they usually go straight for the head or neck to finish the hunt instantly. Luckily, mountain lion attacks on humans are incredibly rare, but when they do happen, the fallout is usually devastating because the victim has virtually zero time to react. Most encounters happen on hiking trails where people accidentally wander into their hunting grounds or jog alone during dawn and dusk. Experts warn against turning your back and running, as that can trigger the cat's chase instinct. Instead, hold your ground, stand tall to look bigger, make eye contact, and slowly back away. If it still charges, fight back fiercely with anything you can get your hands on. If you suddenly saw a mountain lion standing about 30 yards away from you in the middle of the wilderness, would you freeze, slowly back up, or turn and run? Drop your answer in the comments below before we move on, because the next creature is way smaller, but it happens to be the most dangerous scorpion in the U.S. 4. Arizona bark scorpion, the tiny terror. If there's one creature that proves size doesn't matter when it comes to danger, it's the Arizona bark scorpion. Measuring just 2 to 3 inches long with a pale yellowish body that blends right into sand and rocks. It's considered the most medically significant scorpion in the United States. The terrifying part is that you don't even have to trek deep into the desert to run into them. They frequently wander into backyards, garages, woodpiles, and even climb up walls or ceilings to hunt insects at night. Unlike most scorpions that strictly live on the ground, the Arizona bark scorpion is an expert climber. They can grip rough surfaces, hide behind tree bark, under rocks, or crawl inside a pair of shoes you left out on the patio overnight. Plenty of Arizonans have woken up in the middle of the night after accidentally pulling up their sheets right onto a scorpion looking for a cool spot to rest. Their sting is widely described as one of the most excruciating pains a human can experience. Within seconds, a burning pain radiates up your arm or leg, accompanied by a numb, electric shock sensation. However, what really worries doctors is the neurotoxin. In young kids, the elderly, or people with underlying health conditions, the venom can cause convulsions, uncontrollable muscle twitching, trouble swallowing, and breathing difficulties. Severe cases require hospitalization for monitoring or anti-venom. Luckily, thanks to modern medicine, fatalities are extremely rare nowadays. If you get stung by a scorpion, don't try to cut the wound or suck out the venom. Keep the stung area still, apply a cold compress to ease the pain, and head to a medical clinic if any severe symptoms pop up. Letting your guard down around this tiny creature for even a minute could land you right in a hospital bed. Scorpions use their curled tails to deliver a lethal blow, but our next creature barely needs to chase or sting you at all. It just quietly waits in a dark corner, and the moment you accidentally touch it, the real trouble begins. 5. Black widow, death in an hourglass. In old sheds, wood piles, rock crevices, or dark corners under porches across the Sonoran, there's a warning sign almost every American recognizes instantly the red hourglass mark on the underside of a black widow spider. That tiny emblem has made this spider the stuff of nightmares for generations. Interestingly enough, black widows aren't aggressive at all. They spend most of their time spinning webs and waiting for insects to get trapped. Most bites happen when people accidentally press against them, slide on gardening gloves with a spider inside, or reach into a dark spot where they're hiding. When trapped with no way out, the spider will deliver a quick bite, injecting a small dose of highly potent neurotoxin. Within a few dozen minutes, the victim can start feeling severe pain radiating throughout their entire body, especially in the abdomen, back, and chest. Muscles will cramp up repeatedly, accompanied by nausea, sweating, high blood pressure, and a feeling like your whole body is being squeezed tight because of these symptoms. Many people have actually mistaken a black widow bite for a heart attack or appendicitis. That said, this is also one of the most misunderstood species out there, while their venom is biologically incredibly potent. Deaths in healthy adults are virtually unheard of today thanks to modern emergency response and care. But that doesn't mean you should take them lightly. For kids, the elderly, or anyone with cardiovascular issues, a bite can still quickly escalate into a medical emergency. So far, every creature on this list attacks with teeth, stingers, or pincers. But the next one doesn't really have to do anything at all. If a dog accidentally bites or licks it, a lethal countdown can kick off right then and there. 6. Sonoran Desert Toad, the desert's weirdest toxin. At first glance, the Sonoran Desert Toad looks completely harmless. They have a plump body, move slowly, and usually only pop up after summer monsoon rains. If you didn't know any better, you'd think this was one of the most innocent creatures in the desert. But hiding behind that gentle look is a chemical defense system that is easily one of the strangest in the animal kingdom. Right behind the toad's eyes are large parotoid glands. When threatened, they secrete a milky white fluid packed with bufatoxins, a cocktail of toxins meant to ward off predators. The most famous component in there is 5-MeO-DMT, an incredibly powerful psychedelic compound. Because of this substance, there was actually a time when people tried to harvest the toad's toxins to use as a hallucinogenic drug, completely ignoring the massive health risks involved. For humans, coming into contact with or using this toxin can lead to heart arrhythmias, disorientation, intense hallucinations, seizures, and other dangerous complications. But the most frequent victims aren't humans, they're dogs. If a curious pup bites or licks the toxin glands behind the toad's eyes, the poison is rapidly absorbed through the membranes in their mouth. Within minutes, the dog will start foaming at the mouth, lose its balance, suffer seizures, experience a racing heart rate, and can die if they aren't rushed to an emergency vet immediately. That's why veterinarians in Arizona always tell pet owners to keep a sharp lookout after the rains, which is prime time for Sonoran toads. A creature that barely even bothers to run away can take down predators way bigger than itself with just a few drops of toxins. But our next creature is a completely different story. It doesn't wait around for someone to touch it. It actively hunts, charging forward on dozens of legs and using a pair of venomous pincers to overpower its prey in a flash. 7. Giant desert centipede, the multi-legged killing machine. Few creatures can make your skin crawl at first glance quite like the giant desert centipede, measuring anywhere from 6 to over 8 inches long, with dozens of rhythmically moving legs and a massive pair of venomous pincers up front. It looks more like a creature out of a horror movie than a desert resident. During the day, they hide under rocks, inside rotting logs, or in deep crevices to beat the brutal heat. Once night falls, the hunt is officially on. This is easily one of the most aggressive invertebrate predators in the Sonoran. Lizards, baby mice, spiders, insects, and even small snakes can all end up on its dinner menu. When it spots prey, the centipede darts forward at an unbelievable speed, using its modified legs called forcipules to pierce the target's body and inject venom to quickly bring it down. The whole process takes just a matter of seconds. For humans, a bite from a giant desert centipede is rarely life-threatening. But anyone who's been through it will remember it for the rest of their lives. The pain is often described as feeling like a red-hot knife stabbing into your skin, which then develops into a severe ache that can last for hours or even days. Victims can experience swelling, redness, nausea, a mild fever, and swollen lymph nodes near the bite. Anyone allergic to the venom faces an even higher risk of a severe reaction and will need medical attention. The good news is that there are no officially confirmed human deaths caused by the giant desert centipede. However, if you accidentally reach into a rocky crevice or lift a log without looking closely, you could still pay the price with one of the most painful bites the Sonoran Desert has to offer. But if you think snakes and bugs are the only ones packing venom, this next creature will make you think twice. It's one of the very few venomous lizards left on Earth. 8. Gila monster, slow but unforgiving. At first glance, the Gila monster doesn't look like a killer. They move slowly, have a stocky build, and rarely ever go out of their way to attack humans. But don't let that sluggish behavior fool you. This is the largest native lizard in the United States, and it happens to be one of the rare venomous lizards in the world, covered in beaded, vibrant black and orange or pink scales. The Gila monster looks like it's wearing a natural warning sign. That coloration tells any predator out there, don't even try it. Unlike snakes, a Gila monster's venom isn't injected through hollow fangs. It's produced in glands in their lower jaw and flows through small grooves in their teeth as they bite. So, instead of a quick bite and release, a Gila monster will latch on incredibly tight and chew continuously to grind the venom deep into the wound. People who have been bitten by a Gila monster describe the pain as hitting almost instantly and ramping up to an almost unbearable level. That's followed by heavy swelling, bleeding, nausea, dizziness, a drop in blood pressure, and a racing heart in many cases. Getting the lizard to let go is harder than dealing with the bite itself, because their instinct is to clamp down hard on their target instead of running away. The interesting thing is that despite packing a powerful venom, there are no documented modern fatalities fully blamed on a Gila monster bite. Most victims recover completely with proper medical treatment. Still, that's no reason to shrug them off. A single bite can easily turn a casual hike into a multi-day hospital stay, after a long line of creatures that can land you in the ER or worse. The next insect brings an unbelievable paradox. It delivers one of the most agonizing pains in the insect world, but the venom itself is almost completely harmless. 9. Tarantula hawk. Pain like a lightning strike. Just catching a glimpse of the bright orange wings and iridescent blue-black body of a tarantula hawk is enough to make most large spiders run for cover. This is one of the most famous predatory wasps in the Sonoran Desert. Their targets aren't humans, they hunt massive tarantulas. Once a female wasp tracks down its prey, she delivers a lightning-fast sting that completely paralyzes the spider, then drags a body multiple times her own weight back to a burrow to serve as live food for her larvae. Humans rarely ever become targets because tarantula hawks are pretty docile if you leave them alone. But if you accidentally grab one, step on it, or trap it in your clothes, that sting will be an unforgettable experience. Entomologist Justin Schmidt, the creator of the Insect Sting Pain Index, ranked the tarantula hawk sting right near the very top, second only to the bullet ant. He described the pain as blinding, fierce, and like a shocking electric current. For the first few minutes, many people can barely stand up or think straight because the pain is so overwhelming. The surprising part is that all that horror is mostly psychological and sensory. A tarantula hawk's venom causes virtually zero long-term damage to a healthy person. After about 3 to 5 minutes, the agonizing pain begins to drop off and usually leaves no lasting effects. Unless you have a severe allergic reaction to insect stings, most victims just need to wait it out and manage the symptoms. It's a fascinating reminder that, in nature, the absolute most painful thing isn't always the most dangerous. And now, for the final creature on our list. It flashes bright warning colors as if announcing it's incredibly deadly. But the truth behind its name will catch a lot of people off guard. 10. Sonoran coral snake, the desert's biggest bluff. If you went strictly by looks, the Sonoran coral snake might seem like the most terrifying thing on this list. Those vibrant red, black, and yellow bands make it look like it's wearing a hazardous warning uniform. For decades, coral snakes have been tied to horror stories about neurotoxic venom that can paralyze your respiratory system. But with the specific subspecies living in the Sonoran Desert, reality is a far cry from what most people imagine. It's true that the Sonoran coral snake possesses a highly potent neurotoxin biologically. However, it's easily one of the most reclusive, shy snakes in the region. They spend the vast majority of their time buried underground, beneath rocks, or under leaf litter, and they rarely ever pick a fight with a human, even if you spot one. Their first instinct is almost always to slide away and hide rather than strike. More importantly, medical records show that the vast majority of bites from the Sonoran coral snake result in only mild symptoms or no significant envenomation at all. This is a stark contrast to some of the eastern U.S. coral snake species, which are far more dangerous and have many documented cases of severe poisoning. That doesn't mean you should go ahead and try to handle or touch them, because any bite from a venomous snake needs to be checked out by a doctor. But when it comes to actual real-world risk to humans, the Sonoran coral snake belongs at the very bottom of this list, and that's the ultimate takeaway from the Sonoran Desert. The scariest-looking creature isn't necessarily the most dangerous. The ones that actually take lives are often so ordinary we don't even bother to notice them. And it's exactly that complacency that becomes the biggest threat when you step into one of North America's harshest ecosystems. The Sonoran Desert isn't a land filled with giant monsters. What makes this place so dangerous is that you rarely see the threat until it's way too late. A tiny swarm of bees can be deadlier than a mountain lion. A snake famous for lethal venom rarely poses a real threat out in the wild. And the creature that hurts the most isn't necessarily the one that can kill you. That's why longtime Arizona locals live by a very simple rule: never touch anything unless you know exactly what it is. A single careless step, a hand reached into a rocky crevice, or a boot put on without checking first can turn a casual desert exploration into a fight for survival. In your opinion, which creature on today's list is the scariest? Is it a hostile swarm of Africanized honeybees, a rattlesnake strike, the ghost-like mountain lion, or a tiny terror like the Arizona bark scorpion? Let us know what you think in the comments below. We read every single one. If you love wildlife documentaries, dangerous animals, and little-known facts about America, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on our next journey exploring the wildest, most dangerous corners of the planet.